Tammy Blackburn is recognized as a former college athlete, a broadcaster, and a trailblazer. After being a 4-year starting guard on San Diego State University's women's basketball team, Tammy's passion for sports continued in the form of sportscasting. Tammy has served as an analyst for the Big West, covering championship sports across women's basketball, women's soccer, and cross country. Though she has steadily forged a lane in her craft, Tammy was hit with life-changing news in 2017.
My phone did ring at 4:01 p.m. on September 1st in 2017, and I didn't have a lot of answers, but I know what I did have. I had a cancer diagnosis. It was a very difficult phone call, as anybody can imagine. But there was hope that that call would be negative, and it wasn't. Now, at first I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. Stage 0 through 3 is curable. My first treatment was chemotherapy, and the infusion center, if you've never been to an infusion center, it's the unhappiest place on earth. And I was able to go into a very, very long treatment of radiation. They were physical scars that I didn't have from chemo. And so I finished radiation and was deemed, after scans and blood work, I was deemed as being in remission or cured of my cancer at that time. Sadly, as we celebrated that time, what I didn't know was happening inside of my very own body, just this ticking time bomb, happening inside. And so 7 months later, I found out, after I was told I was cured of my cancer, that my cancer had returned and that it was no longer stage 3, that my cancer had metastasized, otherwise known as stage 4. And there is no cure for stage 4. It is a terminal disease. I can't believe it's been 6 years already. Living and currently managing a terminal illness is the very worst situation that you can have. And yet I'm living, I have a pretty good quality of life, go through the ups and downs, and I'm making it every day, and I'm doing okay. We are doing okay.
Yes, and as you are sharing, living with such an illness as detrimental as cancer, it's not an easy thing. How do you remain brave throughout, especially as you mentioned, you continue to live and put on a positive face, right, and work on your craft, work in your career? How do you remain brave?
Thank you for the brave. I appreciate that. I need that, because that is actually how I feel every day. I feel like it takes bravery and courage to show up for your treatments, to be willing to go through this. And there are some tough days. There are days when I want to throw in the towel. Just was so surprised at how hard this could be when, as a former athlete and somebody who had confidence and had resources, felt like there were times when I just didn't know where to go. I've got a lot of people in my life the last 6 years saying, you're an inspiration because you show up, because you do show bravery, you are courageous. And that's meaningful when I'm reminded by my tribe that I am courageous and that I am brave, because sometimes it's hard to, when you're in it and you're living with it, it's hard to tell yourself that.
And you touched to the point of how you didn't really know where to go, what to do initially. That alludes to the topic of awareness. So can you talk to me about how you think awareness is just as important as funding and research?
When you become aware and you become informed, and then you're willing to put more time in, oftentimes we become an expert, we become an advocate. And that's where we see change in the world. Awareness equals action, action equals advocacy, and advocacy equals change. And that is such a critical piece of living with cancer. As a patient with cancer, I want quality of life and I want time. What I'm doing this for is I'm doing it for 10, 15, 20 years from now. But there were people before me who did it for me, and I'm going to do it for the people who come after me.
Lastly, to that note of taking action and empowering others, can you talk to me about why an initiative like Tough Like Tammy specifically is so meaningful to you and for the larger community to be a part of?
Tough Like Tammy is a privilege. It will bring all of those things that I just talked about. It will bring the quality of life. It will bring time. Those things will be a byproduct of the work we do today. And Tough Like Tammy means we are going to come together, we're going to talk about cancer. First of all, we're going to open our hearts and our minds to being willing to talk about cancer. As we come together as a conference, the Big West Conference, imagine all of our resources pulling together. And let's imagine today that there's a doctor's office, that there's a scan and there's results pulled up. There's a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer. At that moment in time, delivering bad news from an oncologist to a patient. Now imagine that patient is you. Yeah, that's why we're doing this. This is important. Imagine that patient is you. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're making strides. It is an honor to be part of the Big West Conference and to know great people. Coaches and players and programs and staff at the Big West to come up with this and to take the time to do this. We're doing it. And this is what it takes. This is what it takes.